Hello, welcome to the Metaphysical Journey. My name is Michael, and this evening I present a reading to the collective. Before I begin, I want to ask you a question. Has January been a good month for you? I know we began the year with our New Year's resolutions. We had everything all worked out. After about day four, those kind of go away, and then we're left working on our goals and the different things we want to achieve. And has that been working out for you? I know it has not been for me. It feels like the energies have been just bizarre. A lot of strange emotional things coming and going. It's like things from the past coming forward I'm thinking, why is this coming back? And I thought this was dealt with. So it's been a lot of dramatic shifts and changes. It makes me wonder what comes next. So it's been a hard month. And for this, I was drawn to three different decks. I won't be using tarot on this one, but I will also be using runes. And I plan on using runes from this point forward, pretty much in all of my readings, because um, in the period of time that I've not been putting a lot of things out, I've been in a great runes reality class, a 12-week course, and so much came to light in that. And it's really changed a lot of things. When you put runes and tarot together, you have an amazing combination as divination tools. So I will be pulling from runes, and I pulled three. And the first one I got is the blank one. There's nothing on either side. And this is called Weird, WYRD. And the weird rune, it's a strange name, is very contested because it first showed up in a book on runes in the 1980s. Prior to that, there's no record of it. So who knows? But it does work. And this rune represents several things, but one is fate or change that's coming. Now, how this rune plays out depends on what follows it. And the rune that follows it is Hagalas. Now, Hagalas means hail or ice. And this represents kind of a freeze, a pause, a stall. And it can be somewhat painful, but it's pain for long-term gain. So it's this period of just waiting till everything thaws out. And that may be what you might be feeling right now. It's like you're frozen. Things are frozen. There were plans, dreams, goals, and everything's just paused. What's going on? What's happening? And what's happening is there is a transition taking place within yourself, within you, but also in the world around you. Surely you've noticed that. Lots of changes, dramatic changes, things that always seemed like they were going to be stable and forever, they're crumbling. And our society and the world, there's so many questions we don't know the answers to. There's a lot of fear right now. I want to just boil it down to that, to the emotion of fear, uncertainty, and all that's linked to fear. The things that we hear coming in, what people are saying, the situations they're facing. There's so much fear, and that plays out inside of each of us. So there's a transition taking place. What are we transitioning into? Again, the fear. It's hard to say what's going to happen. The way things were today may not be the way they are tomorrow. We truly have no idea. The third rune is Manaz. And this is the rune of humankind, all humans. This is the connector of all humans. It represents that. And this rune shows up to tell us that we are not alone in what we are experiencing. It feels that we are the only ones going through this. And someone tries to offer advice, and the first thought is, but you don't understand. Well, they actually do understand because they've been through it too, different times, through different situations, but we are all connected through our emotions. At that deeper level, we are all connected. So we are not alone, even though it feels like no one knows what you're going through. No one is experiencing the pain that you're feeling, and that possibly you believe that no one cares. But that's really not true. So these three runes show us that there is a change, and it's fate, meaning it's divinely timed and planned. And there is a pause right now as some changes take place a lot within you, getting yourself ready for this. And that while you're going through this, you are not going through it by yourself at all. If you consider yourself to be a light worker, meaning a person that's here on earth at this time to help everyone around you go through these changes by raising the vibration and keeping your energy high and just being that little spark of light in the darkest of situations, then these three runes are for you, because that darkest situation could be what you're experiencing right now, and you're just trying to keep your little spark lit, and it's hard. So those are the three runes that set the tone for this overall reading. I've said many times in different recordings that it is hard for a card reader to read for themselves. The reality is it's not. The reality is that most card readers don't want to accept what they see. Or you read the cards in front of you and you possibly start to feel like, well, it's my own fear influencing that, so it must not be true. And I have felt that way for a long time. So I have a very select, small group, we're talking less than 4 people, that I will reach out to for a reading. And what I have found time and time again is that the reading I get from them is just a confirmation of what I already knew, either intuitively, what my team has shared with me, or in the cards that I pulled for myself. I tell you that because of this. January has not been a good month for me. I have not posted a lot of stuff, and it goes beyond January. I've not posted a lot of stuff because I've been doing a lot of inner work, learning, growing, and doing collective readings just way too hard for me right now. The energy is too much. What comes in, it's hard. So this evening, I reached out to some friends, and they helped me with some stuff, and I felt better. And I decided to go for a drive. And on this drive, I prayed. I do that. I prayed and I was asking for some sign, something, just confirmation that what I was receiving was true, and just to let me know that there's something to hang on to right now, to let me get a glimpse of what is ahead so I know what's happening, because it's a time of transition. There's a lot of fear. Card readers and people that are spiritual counselors, we feel that too. We're just as scared. But sometimes it's hard to let that show because you feel like I have a certain image I have to keep up. The reality is we're human like everyone else. So I'm in my car driving and I'm praying and the whole thing. And I do start to feel better. I come home and I'm led to do a reading, to pull some cards. And so I did. And what I'm sharing with you is the result of that. The other thing I want to share with you is that this reading was one I did for me. So this is a reading for me, but I am presenting this to the collective because, as Manaz says, I am not alone in what I'm feeling. And I believe that there's something in these that will help you too. I hope so. If so, leave a comment or something. That would be nice. The first deck that I was drawn to is Unshakable Inner Peace. And the card says Soul Alignment. It's time for a radical change. How can you show up for yourself in ways that you never have before? This is a powerful card because in what I'm going through, and I believe many of you as well, you are facing the unknown right now. You don't know what the future looks like, and you're wondering, what am I going to do? What are the next steps? And we are being asked to look deeply inside, to stretch ourselves beyond the comfort zone that we've been living in, and to ask ourselves, all right, let's say that this happens. What can I do next? How can I be different? How can I show up in a way I've never shown up before? That can mean, what other types of jobs can I do? What other types of skills do I have? What other resources do I have to draw on that I've never felt like I had to before, but now I may have to do that? That's what this card is saying. Really think about that. You have so much at your disposal. All the things that you've learned and all the growing that you've gone through, all the people that you've spoken with, all the connections that you made. Those are abilities and skills and beautiful gifts that we've been given all along. How can we take that and use that in a way that helps us become a different person? If this is a transformation that we're going through, that means just like a moth that transforms into a butterfly, we have to come out as something else on the other side. Now, where the other side is and when that happens, we don't know. But what within you can you tap into? Now is the time to really be thinking about that. How is this dark situation making me stronger? Identify those strength areas because therein lies the clue of what can be used later as you move forward. So if the weird rune, that first one, is a rune of fate, this is divine, what's happening. It's meant to happen for a reason, and it's always for our highest good. So, for our highest good, what are things that we can tap into? The second card is this one's really good. Leader of the light. Where are you being called to serve and support others? Now, where you're being called can mean a new direction or new path that you're being called to. And it's very possible that I can speak on behalf of myself on this. There have been some callings that have been there for a quite long time, but maybe I was so comfortable with where I was, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to choose this certain career or hobby or pursuit or form of divination, something that I haven't felt comfortable with. So I've just said, I'll do that later. When I retire, I'll do that. Maybe you feel the same way, but the calling is here now. So if you are going through a radical change, that means there's a calling for what you're moving to. So where are you being called to serve and support others? If you are a light worker, you know why you're here, to raise that vibration and all of that. Where are you being called to do that? You may be called to a place that's not where you currently are. You may be called into a situation that is not what you ever want to get involved in. But if that's your calling and you feel that's where you're supposed to be, there's a reason for that. That means you chose that before you came into this incarnation. So that's why inside you're going to know, you're going to feel it's there. Your soul right now is just longing to break free and get out there and do what it's meant to do. Do you have the guts and the faith to allow that to happen? That's a question that I ask myself, something we all have to face. So think about that. Where are you being called? And for what purpose? And what are you to do? Because with the card before, we're being asked to show up in ways that we've never been before. And these are not ways of things that we don't know anything about. We do know. We have everything we need right now to move forward. We're like the magician in the tarot card. The four elements are on the table in front of us. We have all that at our disposal. We've learned to work with those things. Now's the time to start experimenting with that and create some beautiful magic, some chemistry, some alchemy. Bring that together and say, I'm going to try this and move forward and see what happens. The next deck I was drawn to are Gateway Oracle cards, and I pulled two. And the first one is Standing Firm. I am noble, brave, and strong. And it's going to take a lot of bravery for what comes next. Bravery in moving beyond that threshold of fear into something new, stepping outside of that comfort zone that we've been very happy in for a long time. We've maybe not been thrilled with everything, but at least we knew what it was. Anything beyond that, we didn't know. It was the unknown, the uncertain, and that's something to be scared of. And if you think about over time in your life, again, I'm speaking to myself here. This was a reading I did for me. So it's Manaz. We're all in this together, people. We are in this together. So think about the things that you have stayed in year after year after year. You weren't happy with it. It didn't fulfill you, but at least you knew what it was, right? That can be relationships, that can be jobs, that can be any number of things, living in a certain area, an environment, groups of people. It's now time to look beyond that and stand firm in your belief in yourself and stand firm in knowing that if this is truly divinely timed and planned, there's a reason and you will be supported by the other side when you take that step of faith. Now, taking that step of faith takes guts. I have to admit that it does. And that's the hardest part. The next card is healing the past. I step into my future with strength and clarity. Healing the past can be many things, and this may be something you've been dealing with this month and probably before as well. But this can be the past in your childhood, past relationships, past anything. It can also be past lives. I have experienced that really strong this last week. My last life. And you may not believe in past lives, and I used to not either, but now there's no doubt in my mind. And something came forward, I dealt with it. It's where I stood in front of a mirror and I cried and did not know why. And then all this stuff came back to me. So you have to ask yourself, why now? Why is the past coming forward now? The reason why it's coming forward is that there are things in your past that made you stronger, or perhaps there are things in your past you never dealt with and never let go. Healing the past can be forgiving yourself, of realizing that what you did or what you went through, it had to happen for a reason to get you to where you are right now. And it's time to let that go. When you let that go, you can walk through these trees and move forward through this forest that you may be stuck in right now. So the healing is part of it. And that's what makes this month so intense for many people because it's an emotional storm. You're dealing with the emotions of everyone around you as the world seems to just, in many different ways, be changing so rapidly, but also the emotions within you that are causing you to go into that Hagalas stall period and like, what is happening? This is really, really painful. How long is this going to go on? It's not going to last forever. It's a temporary thing, but for a long-term gain. So this is all necessary of what we are experiencing right now. We have to go through this. It is painful. You're not alone, but it's something we do. It's a transformation. As I said earlier, transformation into what? Only time will tell. For each person, it's different. I wanted to pull one last card. I felt drawn to it, and it's from a deck called Unsent Letters. Things I Wish I Could Tell You. And this is a love oracle deck, so it's usually used in love readings of what the other person would say if they could. But this one, I was told it's different. This is a letter to us from our spirit team. This is what they could send us if they could actually send a letter in the mail or something. And it says, I would just hold you, just to help you relax, to make you feel loved and cared for, to make you feel heard and understood. I won't offer advice you don't need. I would just hold you as long as you allow. So that's a message letting us know that we are not alone in this. We do have support. Just because we can't see them makes it seem like there's no one there but us. But we can feel them if we allow them to embrace us. I hope that you have received something in this that's helpful to you as you move through this time of transition. I want to tell each and every one of you how much you mean to me. Thank you for being there, and thank you for watching, and thank you for following me on the metaphysical journey. Have a good night.